Hey y'all, it's your girl Nadia.
And it's me, Coach T.
And we are two average people.
Yes, we are.
Says our shirts right here.
Make sure you get
average people. Are you tapped in?
Get tapped in.
Get tapped into everything that we're talking about. If you are new to our channel, we talk about love, life, relationships, marriage, togetherness. What does it look like to actually be in a healthy, fulfilling relationship? We want to tap into another episode that we saw, and we want to talk about it. So let's go.
I need y'all to watch this, and then we're going to talk about it.
You know what a man in love will never do? I'm going to tell you right now. He will never call you. He will never cuss you out.
Coming from a person that is fluent in cussing, how that man treats you when he is upset, bothered, irritated, you did one of the silliest things in the world, will show you great lengths of how much he truly likes you. Because one thing us men are good at is protecting y'all feelings. Oh, trust me, we understand that the things that we say can make you cry in a second, get you upset, get you bothered, get you upset. But if we truly like you, but yes, you made me mad, baby girl, let me tell you, I will watch every word that I say. I'm going to take a whole bunch of deep breaths. I'm going to tell you to give me a minute. I'm going to be woosahing in my head, but I'm not going to cuss you out. I'm definitely not about to call you a bitch. And I'm definitely not about to make you feel less than. Why? Because I care about you. And when us men really care about y'all, we not about to make you feel like you just the worst person in the entire world. Are we upset with you? Yes. Will we be quiet with you? Will we be short with you? Absolutely. But I know my words hold a lot of strength, and I ain't finna tear you down like that.
I believe he is absolutely spot on. But I will add some caveats because I think it's important. He is absolutely right about a healthy, emotionally mature man. He can't be talking about all men by gender. Does that make sense?
Yes,
because
100%.
Not every man will respond this way. This is just a reasonable way that a healthy person will try to communicate in those moments.
I would think that it would fall under, for a man who is truly invested in a woman, right? I would think it would be kind of that natural protective instinct to want to protect and preserve what you have with that woman. And so I am sure not all men are like that, but I would think that protective preservation side of the relationship would come out, and it would almost kind of be natural.
Even if it was natural, and this is hard to...
we're talking, y'all. I don't know.
We're talking through this. Here's my thing, right? Even though I hear you on the natural part, and you're not necessarily wrong of the innate nature of wanting to protect in this way, it still can have levels of maturity and or immaturity that can look very different depending on who we're talking about.
Right. That's fair.
So the person who is, especially from the guy's perspective, the guy who is trying looks like this. Does that make sense? The guy who's trying looks like this, right or wrong. Because in some spaces in man world, this guy is called a simp. You understand what I'm saying? This guy is a herb. This guy is the guy who's going to get abused emotionally from a woman. In some circles, that is a reality in some male spaces. That's how he'll be perceived.
Yes, I agree. But I think something like that takes time. Because when you're first meeting a woman, no matter what your purpose is, right?
Yeah, okay, fair. Yeah.
There's a certain level of you have to present a certain way.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean,
if you're
I'm
gonna
not
get a
talking
shot.
about that. You're gonna be like, hey, you, come here.
Hey, sometimes that works. Let's just.
I mean, I've
people
had
do
guys,
it because it works.
I've had guys approach me that way,
Facts.
so I know it happens.
Everybody, but it does work. So,
but the guy who is truly trying to pursue that woman because of whatever, he's going to come across as this guy is describing.
Yeah,
and so I feel like when I hear that, I attribute it to, no, we've been together for a few years. And this is what I'm getting from my guy, a guy who knows how to talk to me, who knows how to protect my emotions, who knows how to come at me in a way that will keep me from being so defensive. But at the same time, we can communicate in a way that works together. That I feel like you don't truly assess until you've had some time with that person, because everybody presents that way in the first part of the relationship.
I dig that. That makes a whole lot of sense. And I think especially for men, we have to reach that place a lot faster than you do.
True.
In a relationship, because if we don't come correct,
we ain't looking.
It's not going to even go down. So there's that chance of being lied to or deceived from our perspective. But let's see what she has to say.
Our perspective as well.
Yes,
because we don't know what you're there for.
We
don't know if you're there to get some. We don't know if you're there because you're truly interested in pursuing a relationship. We don't know.
That's my point. It's a dangerous spot to be, but you are the one that has the power because I have to come to you.
Yeah.
So let's just see what else she has to say.
Hear what he said though. Only emotionally intelligent men who actually care about you do that. Very early on in my relationship with my husband, we had a miscommunication with each other. He was like, hey, I feel like you're holding something against me. And I was like, I'm not holding anything against you, but I am upset with you. He was feeling some type of way. I was feeling some type of way. And instead of things erupting into an argument, which we swore we would never do it with each other, I said I was never doing that. We took that boundary. We set that boundary very early on in our relationship. He looked me dead in my eye and he said, maybe we should talk about this at a later time when it's going to be a productive conversation for both you and I. And that right then was when I knew I had the right person. And that's when I knew that your daddy was the one for me, Nugget. Never raised his voice at me. He's never cussed at me. He's never called me out my name. And vice versa. We've always respected each other. We've respected the boundaries we've set, and we respect our relationship. So my man's in the earlier clip was not lying. If they wanted to, they would.
Okay. So I agree with her for the most part. I think even healthy couples argue from time to time.
Yeah.
Right? So I don't think that, I do agree that that's not necessarily a healthy way to communicate. You don't really get anywhere with anybody shouting at each other or cussing each other or whatever the case may be. But I do think that just, arguments happen. Sometimes things get heated and you're like, all right, but everything does not have to be an argument.
Yeah.
Like, calm down.
Yeah.
It does not have to be an argument every time.
It doesn't.
Even up to yesterday, y'all, we were having a very difficult conversation.
Yeah.
Like, both of us were like, but here's my point. And he's like, well, this is what I'm trying to say. But we're saying the same thing. Well, no, we're not. This is what I heard. Sometimes it does take some work and you got to think about how you say things, but it does not have to be a, well, da-da-da, and da-da, and you said this and da-da. Sorry.
She doesn't do that ever. So that was
and I was trying not to hit the mic.
That was entertaining. I like that. Thank you.
You can tell them I do that, babe. It's fine.
She don't do that. She beats me when we get off the camera.
Oh, sorry. Okay. We got to have our little moment. But I hear what she's saying. Like, I always tell him, if you are feeling so frustrated or you're upset with me, because that happens, right? Or I'm upset with him. If we can't come together and talk about it in a moment, that's okay.
Can I share something?
Take a moment.
Can I share something? One of the most important things that you said to me as a husband coming into...
If I said it to you, I was as a wife.
No, you were saying it to me about being a husband.
Oh, got you.
Sorry, that was confusing. What you said to me about being a husband was, if it bothers you enough that you feel something, we should talk about it.
Absolutely.
Which made me go, I can hear that, because as a dude, newsflash, we don't know what we feeling 98% of the time. And it's not that we don't know that we're feeling something, but a lot of us don't have the words for what it is we are actually feeling. We put it into context that we can understand. For example, if we feel depressed can look like focus for a dude. I put my head down, I get quiet, I disappear. Hey, I'm just focusing on me. You know what I'm saying? It looks like focus. It almost looks attractive. That dude is depressed. He's just trying to take his depression and aim it at something a little bit more positive. But a depression is a depression. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of us just don't have the language for the actual feelings we're feeling. So what we do is we recontextualize it into something we can process and run with it. It is completely a safety mechanism, emotionally speaking, for us, but it leaves us woefully lacking in the skills it takes sometimes to deal with the emotional load in a relationship.
And to what he was saying was, you can't just say it. Right. You have to consider. I mean, on either side, you can't always just say it. Right. You can say it, but there's a way to say it. There's a way to say, yeah, I don't like that dress.
Yeah, there's a way.
So you could say, yeah, nah, that I don't really like that dress. That's just not working for you. It's just not working for you, right? You would be honest, right? And that's and you're like, well, what's wrong with being honest? That's also hurtful,
right?
So
honesty does not have to include hurt.
Exactly,
it doesn't.
So you can also just say, when she's like, hey, how am I looking? You can say, what other dresses you got? Let me see those. I like to see you model anyway. You know what I'm saying? Like, because, and then I'm sure she'll put on something else you like. You know what I'm saying? So you're still being honest without being hurtful. And that's kind of the key that we talk to each other very directly. I mean,
very frankly,
probably more direct than me, just because that's just who he is.
Yeah, it is.
But I've learned to be very direct with you today. What's wrong, babe? Nothing's wrong. I'm not mad at you. I don't want to talk today. I've had a long day. I don't feel like it.
It's not me, right? Bad.
And he can handle that. He can handle that. He can handle that. He won't feel like, oh, well, if she got attitude, and I don't know.
And it's not that I can't. If it was me, it puts me in a different mind frame. Now I go into protection mode. Okay, so something's up, and that means whatever projects I have might have to get put on hold if I don't get this emotionally under control fast. That's how it populates in my mind. And so what I tend to do then is make sure that I make time on purpose to deal with what needs to be dealt with, so that when we have the time when we need to go forward, we can move forward. We can keep the ship going in a proper direction.
Exactly. We have to, and it does take skill, because if he came home from a hard day at work, I'm like, babe, what's wrong? Work. What you mean work?
Right.
The first thing I want to know, you still got a job? Oh, okay, cool. All right. Now we can
talk. I told them some bitch. No.
You know what I'm saying? Like, there. I'm playing because y'all, I gotta laugh.
But it's real.
It's real.
The
right?
first these things. The first thing she's
like, what did you mean by work? What happened at work?
What happened? What happened?
Did you lose your job? Because I'm emotion, right? That's me. I got a lot of emotion I got to work through.
Yeah.
And so I think, to his point earlier in the clip, he was like, you kind of have to consider that.
You have to consider that.
Though you don't necessarily stem from the place that you have to consider.
But if he rock with you for real, if he's rocking with you for real, you're going to be able to see him do all sorts of backflips to not rock your boat.
Yeah.
Not necessarily because he can't handle a boat rocking, but because he doesn't want to rattle your boat. Yeah. He's trying to look out for you emotionally. He doesn't always know what that means in context, but he's willing to figure it out. That's a skill and an attribute I think you should value. Person to person, man to woman, woman to man.
Yeah.
The person who is genuinely trying to look out for your well-being is a person who's trying to, be better together.
I just want to ask you one more question, but before we go. I feel like a lot of time when men are those men that they're talking about in the clip that truly do pay attention and kind of look out for the feelings, and that can present as you guys just shutting down.
Yeah,
so
that's
in
true.
an effort not to hurt, or an effort not to in an effort to preserve, again, like I was saying, preserve and protect what you've built and what you've put time into, you shut down, as opposed to really talking about your feelings with the person, because you're like, she can't handle it, or it's going to be too much for her, or she's going to judge me, or whatever the case may be. And so, can you speak to that a little bit? Do you find that that is something that men...
Yes, and that's why I think men need to be more available to men's spaces. Here's what I mean. Most dudes don't really care for a relationship with dudes. Meaning we want it, and we've been playing basketball for the last 3 years every Saturday at the park, but I don't really know you past that. I don't really need to know you past that. It's cool. We can keep this nice and shallow, because every other relationship I have is emotionally so dense. It's okay. But we also keep our relationships pretty at arm's length that way.
Yeah.
And so what that means, and I'm not saying any of that's a bad thing, but what that can mean then is we don't always have the language.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So
Right.
when we start to stonewall, so we don't say anything at all, it's our effort not to make things worse.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Because, hi, I'm the dude that would make things worse. I don't mean to, but sometimes I'm just going to say the thing I think.
Yeah.
Because I don't know it. I'm not going to hold it back, and I don't have any other better way of saying it that I can think of.
Yeah.
But you should know that I genuinely have thought about trying, and if there's a better way that I could learn, I'm going to be completely open to it.
He's not as bad as he's making himself sound,
but I am direct. And
Yes.
and as I get older, I try to temper that directness a lot more. But, again, I told my wife yesterday, inside of a different context, you take me out of this box and put me in that box, and what comes out of my face, it might surprise you.
Mm-hmm.
It is what it is.
The first time I heard him in business mode, I was like, gosh, you're mean. He's like, no, I'm not mean, babe.
Not
That's
mean.
business.
It's
We're talking
business.
business. It's not about feelings.
We're
We're going to deal with the business and we move on. There's no place for feelings in business. And I learned that a long time ago. But I'm glad that you explained that, because that does make a lot of sense, and of course, y'all, this is one of the topics we can talk about forever.
But because the truth of the matter is, as a man, we have to learn to face that every single time. I don't care what it looks like. I don't care how I don't want to do it. I don't want to. No, you got to face it, because it's in you facing it every time that you give her an opportunity to also face it. And so not only do you have to be willing to say something that you might feel might rock the boat, but you have to be willing to hear something that might rock your boat.
Yeah.
And still operate well. You have to do both. And guess what?
Time.
It takes time.
It takes time. And seriously.
And maturity.
Like everything else, it takes time. You have to practice this. You have to actively practice. You're not going to get into a relationship, be married for a year, and it's like, hey, we got this down pat, right? You have to practice communicating. You have to say, okay, well, that did not work. So like she described her husband, you know what? We're both heated. Let's take a minute, step away. We'll come back and talk about this when we're together. That takes time, practice.
It takes practice.
Forgiveness, grace, all of that.
Yeah, one of the things she said to me that really helped temper my tongue was, I believe that no matter what thing you say that I find hurtful, I believe you didn't say it from a place of trying to hurt me, which made me go, yeah, I'm definitely not trying to hurt you. I get nothing from hurting you. So I'm not trying to do that. But it also gave me the language to say, but this particular topic is hard to talk about.
It is. There's some hard topics.
It's just, it is what it is.
There is some hard topics.
So we got to be able to do that too without it,
Yep.
We can't have both conversations at the same time. Sometimes we just got to talk about the hard thing and let it be okay that we did that.
And that takes trust, right? The minute, if that trust is broken between us, I wouldn't feel that way.
That's true.
I would feel like he's trying to hurt me.
Yeah.
I would feel like he's trying to break me down, right? And so there's all of it. This is how it comes together.
This is how it comes together.
Right? And how
because that trust isn't blind.
Yeah.
I had to earn the trust.
Absolutely.
I had to do the things consistently to show her that it's okay.
Yeah.
It really is okay.
Yeah.
So,
all right, y'all. So we're excited about our merch. Make sure we are going. Oh my God, I'm so excited.
You got to get tapped in.
You got to get tapped in, right? Get tapped. So if y'all see me out and I'm wearing this shirt like every day, just know, it's okay.
I'm pretty excited.
Okay, because I'm really excited. So. All right, y'all. We really appreciate all the support. Remember to subscribe, to tap the bell, all of the things.
Yep.
Thank you for all of our subscribers.
Mm-hmm.
Follow us, listen to us. We're also going to be transitioning to an actual podcast so you can listen to in your car because we don't want you to drive and listen, look at us and get in an accident and all that.
Yeah, don't do that.
All of that's coming down the pike. We're so excited. Thank you for being with us. Thank you for following with us. Thank you for rocking with us. We'll see you next time. And remember, we're better together. Stay tapped in. Stay tapped.